Hello guys and welcome to my first video on Max Talks Football. It is going to be about my footballing journey from a little young lad all the way up to the EFL and playing in the National League where I am now at Wealdstone Football Club. But before we start, just a little thank you very much. Appreciate all the love and support we've got from the first little video we put out on TikTok and a short on YouTube. Very nice of all you to be very encouraging. And yeah, let's see where this goes. We've got loads of content coming out for you guys, starting with today. So like most footballers, I had a ball at my feet very, very young. And I went down to my local club, Molesey Juniors, and just started playing for fun there. Yeah, playing on a Sunday. Wouldn't train too much, but yeah, absolutely loved it. And played there. We used to play in the summer, win loads of tournaments, I think like most good teams. And I had trials at Chelsea and Arsenal. You know, I kind of hung around there quite a lot. 6 weeks turned into 7 weeks, turned into 8 weeks. And I think my dad turned around to Chelsea and said, look, do you want him or not? And it was kind of, no, he's a bit too small for us at the minute, so physically. And it's similar with Arsenal. I was playing with their development team in Walthamstow, having to get the tube all the way up with my mum or dad or driving up there. And it was tough. Continued playing with Molesey Juniors on a Sunday. And eventually we just played in the summer and we had a tournament in Camberley in Hampshire. So a little bit further away from where we were in Surrey. We won the tournament. We won 2-1 in the final. I scored both goals. And a scout from Southampton came up to my dad and just gave me his card, or gave him his card. And yeah, I think we went to a trial there. There's only 2 of us who actually got to the end and got to train with the academy for a few weeks. And after those few weeks, Southampton said they wanted to sign me. So signed there. Obviously, I was born in Kingston, always lived in Surrey. So that was a fair old way. So mum and dad had a lot of traipsing to do every Tuesday, Thursday and a Sunday. So it was a lot of mileage. Forever grateful for them for taking me. As most players, their parents are probably their biggest influences on the career, and it was no different for me. What can I say about Southampton? Southampton was probably the best academy in England, if not the world at the time. The players they produced. Gareth Bale I watched in the youth team in the Youth Cup. Adam Lallana, Nathan Dyer, Theo Walcott, just to name a few. In the year below me, Luke Shaw, Callum Chambers, Harrison Reed, all these guys have had, James Ward-Prowse had great careers in the Premier League. So it really was a hotbed and a fantastic academy. The facilities were incredible. The pitches were amazing. So I was there from under 10s all the way up to under 14s, the end of the under 14s season. And yeah, I wasn't offered a contract. So we'd had quite good feedback in meetings with my parents and like, he's doing really well, we're doing really well. So it was a bit of a shock for me at the end that I wasn't going to get a contract. I remember going to school the next day and the next few days and, you know, telling my friends, and some of the people at the school were kind of teasing me, saying you got released from Southampton. And that was very hard. And something which is really, really important for, you know, a footballer or any athlete, resilience is massive for me. And at that time, I was getting teased at school. You've had bad news, you're too small, or you're not quite what we're looking for. Resilience is massive. And like I said, I didn't waver from not wanting to be a footballer. So I said to my dad, turned around and says, do you want to keep doing this? I said, absolutely. So he spoke to the academy director at Southampton and said, look, this was a bit of a shock to us. Could you put us in touch with a couple of clubs? And you know, he got in touch with Wycombe and Wycombe Wanderers in League 2 and Brentford in League 2, I think, at the time as well. So that summer, straight after, just jumped straight in again and went on trial with both teams. And both teams got back to me saying they kind of want to sign me straight away. And I really preferred the Wycombe setup. The training was brilliant. I signed forms under 15s and, you know, had a good season in the under 15s. And straight away, following my dream, under 16s, you got offered an apprenticeship, full-time football, living away from home. Can sound quite daunting, but I just jumped straight in. I absolutely loved it. Didn't really say goodbye to mum or dad out the door. I was just loving it. I was just in full-time football, cleaning the first team's boots, training every day, doing studies alongside that on a Wednesday and a Thursday. I just absolutely loved it. Under 18s, they mix the under 18s and the under 17s just to make one team. That's what an apprenticeship is. So I was a first year scholar living with 8 other lads above a pub. So the landlady owned a pub and we were living in 6 or 7 rooms upstairs. And yeah, and it's probably not enough time and not to mention all the stories that happened up there, but some of the fondest memories I have was living above the pub in West Wycombe with all the boys. I managed to get into the first 11 in the under-18s, and I think one of my first starts I scored a hat-trick against Brentford away. A mixture of goals, a header and some 2 decent finishes, and that gave me a lot of confidence going forward. Obviously playing with a year above, and physically, like I said, I was a bit smaller than everyone else. That gave me a lot of confidence to say, look, I belong here now, and kick on. And in my second year, I was made youth team captain. Always kind of was a talker on the pitch, communication, even if I didn't have that physical stature, but I understood the game quite well and wanted to help teammates with my communication, my leadership. So that was a very proud honour. And it was a bit of a tough year for me. In my second year, I broke my ankle. So I broke my tibia just at the bottom, just above my ankle joint, and that was really tough in a game against Luton. And that was 3-4 months out in the year where I need to be earning a professional contract. So a lot of doubt, a lot of worry, having to get the injury right, of course. It was just a straight break, a straight fracture. So it wasn't a complicated injury, but obviously very painful. Again, crying on the way home in the car thinking, what do I do now? Managed to get, that was in October time, so managed to get back for February. And I got fit, started smashing it again when I returned. And thankfully, Gary Wooddock offered me a first year professional contract. Amazing. I remember ringing my mum and she was crying on the phone. And that's just a once in a lifetime opportunity and memory I have, ringing her and her crying and my dad being so proud. That first year professional contract, I didn't play a single minute. I was on the bench twice when there was a serious injury crisis. Gary Wooddock got sacked. Gareth Ainsworth was player manager in his first role, so he kind of fell into the role and took it upon himself to be the manager at Wycombe Wanderers. And similar feedback I'd had when I was younger. Ainsworth was like, look, we can see your talent, but you need to get in the gym over the summer, so we're going to give you a second year contract. Obviously I was very happy, and I promise you, from day one, the day after the season finished, I was in the gym all summer. Now, I'm not saying I became Arnold Schwarzenegger overnight or over the holidays, but I beefed up a little bit and made my debut that following season on the first game, coming on against Morecambe at home for 3 minutes. Now, those 3 minutes were unbelievable for me. I'd achieved a dream of mine by playing in the EFL in League Two. And it was a very proud moment to play at Adams Park, only for 3 minutes. But that gave me confidence. I played against Southend the week after. One of the midfielders got injured and I got an assist for coming on. And also got cramp as a substitute, so that was a bit embarrassing. But and it kind of snowballed then. That was my breakthrough season when I was 19. I scoring 6 goals that season, 2 against Hartlepool in an away game all the way up there. That shirt up. Very stressful season. We stayed up on the last day. We lost to Bristol Rovers on the penultimate day of the season, and they went above us and we went into the relegation zone. And then on the final day, we beat Torquay, and they lost somehow at home 1-0. So we managed to stay up. And to be fair to the manager, he made a lot of decisions that summer. And the following season, we finished in the playoffs and we lost at Wembley in the playoff final on penalties. Probably the cruelest way to lose on penalties, of course, but again, I was preparing to be a League One player, and in the 120th minute, Southend equalised, a devastating blow. So I didn't get on. So that is a massive ambition of mine, to go back to Wembley and actually play. So being in the National League now, we can do that either, in the FA Cup, which is a bit unlikely, but the playoffs, which are a bit more attainable, and obviously the FA Trophy. So in that season, I got released and made my way to Woking again. Another tough year. Went there, another drop down into non-league, somewhere I didn't think I'd want to be, but the standard of the non-league, National League shocked me, and it was very, very strong. Went there, I separated my AC joint in a game on BT Sport, fell on it just awkwardly, and I'm just lying there on the turf, and it's just popped out. And again, tough, real tough, having to come back from that. And the first game back, I played against Aldershot. We lost 2-1 in the derby. I scored and done my MCL in that game. Played the whole game, but the next day my knee was very sore and done my MCL. So again, really frustrating. And talking about that word again, resilience, had to just stick in there and recover from both those injuries in a short space of time. Managed to come back for the end of the season. We stayed up on the last day from relegation. I scored a free kick away at Dagenham that kept us up. And Gary Hill, resigned as manager that season, and the new manager incoming didn't want me there. So at this point, I've dropped 2 leagues and I'm in the Conference South now with Alan Dowson, who's one of my very good friends now. And he took me at Hampton. He said, look, Max, just play 50 games. And that's exactly what I did. First season in my whole career at 24, I played every game of the season virtually, 50 plus games, and scored 20 plus goals. And honestly, it is the most enjoyable season I've had as a footballer. Little old Hampton Richmond on the river. No one really fancied us. And we got to the playoff final and scored a lot of goals, as I said, a lot of assists. And a little club like us with a small budget did incredibly well to get to the final. We played Chelmsford in the semi-final. I scored a penalty. Probably the only penalty I generally thought I wouldn't score, because the goalie's head was nearly touching a crossbar. And I was like, bloody hell, how the hell do I score this? But thankfully buried it. And then in the final, we lost 2-1 again. We lost on penalties again. Penalty playoff heartache for me. I scored in the final and came off with concussion with a split open head. And again, very tough. Followed the manager, then Alan Dowson went to Woking. So I had another season back at Woking. Now, they always say don't go back to your old club, but I did. And, we got promoted they'd got relegated the season before from the National League, and we got promoted at the first, point of asking from the National League South. And we got to the 3rd round of the FA Cup, which was incredible. We played Watford in the 3rd round. We beat Torquay in the 1st round and Swindon away, which, Woking fans watching this will live long in the memory. We beat them away 1-0. Jake Hyde, my very good friend, scoring. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. So good, so good, so good. Woking will always live, close to my heart. A great club with a great community. Now, currently I'm playing for Wealdstone. Everyone says Wealdstone. Oh, is that where, the Wealdstone Raiders? No, he's just a celebrity around us. A lovely guy as well. But yeah, I joined Wealdstone in the summer. The style of football and the football we play is something I'm completely not used to. Something I played when I was, a youth team player when I was under, Richard Dobson at Wycombe. We pass, we play out from the back, and I've just enjoyed it so much. The manager there, Stuart Maynard, Matty, the assistant, and Craig, the coach, play in a different way, which not many teams play in our league, let alone, across, the footballing pyramid in England. Last season, again, a bit frustrating with a couple of injuries, but I was more of a creator last season, getting a lot of assists, 9 assists and 6 goals. So I'm hoping this season, to boost those numbers, get double figures. But yeah, it'll be tough. But really looking forward to the season with Wealdstone. We signed some players and very excited about where we could go this season. And like I said, playing some really, really attractive football. And yeah, that brings us up to date, really. It's been a long journey from, like I said, if we start when I was under 7 at Molesey Juniors, but it really kicked on and started when I was 16 into full-time football up until, I'm 29, 30 this year. So to live, like I said, to earn a living out of the game for that long I've been very proud of doing that. Yes, I've not played at the Championship, Premier League, Champions League. I mean, the odds of someone doing that are incredibly small. So, when I'm privileged to watch those Premier League games and go, wow, there are some unbelievable players there. But as I said, the National League, the standard is ever growing. The money's coming in, and I think that bridge between League 2 and National League now is, as tight as it's ever been. Yeah, it's been a tough journey, and one I said I have had to be resilient in. That's it. So thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe to the channel, Max Talks Football. Again, we've got loads of content coming out, but I really appreciate the love you've been giving me, and I'll see you all very soon.